This School of Hard Knocks fight is in the 145-pound weight division and is brought to you by BML Hot Shots. And now, let's meet the fighters. First, please welcome Andy Jack.
So Andy Jack comes down to the cage out of the Winnipeg Academy of Mixed Martial Arts, 1-0 as an amateur. Fought the last time we were here in Saskatchewan and was very successful. Comes out and again, I keep saying it because they keep proving it right. The Whammo boys undefeated here in the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship, and Andy Jack looking to keep that up as he gets set to fight Dylan Adams. So Andy Jack gets set to step into the cage, looking to improve his record to 2-0, and of course keep the reputation of the gym going. His cousin, of course, Travis Richardson, winning earlier tonight, and says he's just confident in his ground game, but is really looking for a stand-up battle tonight.
Well, you always want to do something a little bit different than you did the one before. He won his last fight by rear naked choke in the second round, and maybe wants to be the one who is the stand-up guy. He mentioned a little bit of thinking less and throwing more, I think was the exact words he used, and that we'll see if that comes to fruition here in this fight.
Yeah, talks about wanting to let his hands go, and we'll certainly see him get the opportunity to do that as Andy Jack now enters the cage and gets set to face off against his opponent, who we will hear about momentarily, Dylan Adams.
Dylan Adams at the LA Warriors, they like to focus on all aspects of fighting, and of course we talk about the aspects, for those of you who are kind of newer to the sport, aspects are grappling, submission, and striking, and being able to be well-rounded in all of those is where you're successful. Dylan Adams, though, likes to be that stand-up guy, and being able to test, like you mentioned, Andy Jack's stand-up game. Andy Jack was very dominant in his last fight, but he was dominant on the ground, and maybe that's a weakness that Dylan Adams sees, and he's trying to exploit that.
You know, the last time we saw Dylan Adams, he darn near had his leg kicked right off his body, was unable to put his foot down during that fight because of the swelling and the contusion that built up as a result of leg kicks, and said that he spent a lot of time in this camp checking leg kicks and also building his pain tolerance. And quite frankly, again, if you go back and see that first fight from Dylan Adams, the swelling on his leg was disturbing by the end of the fight, and he was unable to continue, and so as a result fell to 1-3.
We thought he had broken his leg.
Well, yeah, I wasn't sure what had happened, but clearly, like, it was a very large contusion on his leg that was clearly visible to us at cage side, and he was unable to walk from the cage at the end of the fight, but he did attend the after party at the bar that night, and I'm sure regardless of what happens in this fight, he will likely attend tonight as well.
Well, our lovely ring girls show up there too.
Yes,
so
the ring girls do show up at the party, so always a good time. So if you're ever in a city and you're going to see the Hard Knocks fight, and they tell you about going to the after party, make sure you get down there, because it is a great opportunity to meet the fighters, to meet the ring girls, and
meet us.
You can meet Ari, you can meet me if you can find me. I'm likely around at the front door letting the bouncer know that I'm fighters.
The official Hard Knocks fighter introduction. First, fighting out of the Power Dodge blue corner, with a record of 1-0, he weighed in at 145 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Winnipeg Academy of MMA, please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Andy Jack! And his opponent in the Boston Pizza red corner, with a record of 1-3, he weighed in at 145 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of LA Warriors from L'Orange, please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Dylan Adams. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mark Aparicio.
So Mark Aparicio back in charge of the cage as Dylan Adam and Andy Jack get set to square off. Jack coming out of the blue corner, Adam in the red, the Canada trunks for Dylan Adam, the blue and white kickboxer trunks for Andy Jack. And the leg kick coming early from Dylan Adam, learning the lesson that could win you a fight.
Yeah, and again, checking a leg kick and a leg kick returned here by Andy Jack. Checking leg kicks toughens up your shins. It also toughens up your shins for leg kicking. And so it's not surprising that Dylan Adam would add that to his repertoire.
And you can see that leg kick nicely checked. Jack coming forward with a couple of punches, but nothing really landing.
Good hand defense. It was very good hand-eye coordination there by Dylan Adam. You saw all of those punches were checked by the hands.
Both fighters exchanging blows in that contest, and the leg kick, that one gets through.
See, that one sounds okay, but again, he's hitting with the flat of his foot as opposed to his shin, which sounds great but doesn't do a lot of damage. He's also hitting on the thigh, which is another one of those things that sounds great but doesn't do the damage. The best place to hit it is right at the top of the knee joint, and these kicks are a little bit high by Andy Jack. He might want to adjust how high he's targeting these leg attacks.
Jack continuing to move forward slightly, and then Adam takes his couple steps. Both fighters fairly evenly matched through the opening 60 seconds. The corner of Andy Jack imploring him to let those fists go. And a big kick.
That one's much better placed.
And again, you could hear the coaches here cage side very happy with the results of that kick. That one just missed the face of Dylan Adams.
Hit him with toes on the chin. It's good striking by both these guys. It's very clinical. It's coming from the right place. A nice flurry of exchange there.
Caught the kick and works it into a takedown. Andy Jack on top, but a little bit of an awkward position here. Got his leg out in front. No twisting leg locks here in the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship in any of our host cities.
Well, and it's a good thing because when Andy Jack's leg was done, twisting leg lock would have ended that fight real quick. It was nice and deep.
Couple big punches here coming from Andy Jack as Dylan Adam is down. And Jack in the guard, but postured up and looking to break free again.
He's positioned high, and he's putting his thighs underneath the thighs of Dylan Adam. This is providing a good base for able to do it, and it keeps Dylan Adams' feet off the ground, which means that he's not going to be able to push. Attempted an armbar there, but easily slipped out by Andy Jack.
Now into side control and a knee at the end of round number one. The takedown may have been enough to win that round for Andy Jack. As you mentioned, Jeremy, both of them fairly even in the striking game in the first round, but that takedown and the few brief moments on top may be enough to win the round.
Well, and again, another one of those show-me rounds where both the fighters doing pretty much equal damage, and the judges are just waiting for somebody to get above and beyond somebody else. There's no official count of tally of points, but I'm sure judges in their mind go, oh, that's one for red, that's one for blue. And I think at the end of that round, Andy Jack in the blue corner was able to rack up a few more unofficial points than Dylan Adam.
And again, we see the early stages of the first round here as both fighters exchange punches. Neither one of them with anything really connecting there. But no real damage done to either fighter, but like you mentioned, Jeremy, that few moments on top may be the difference in the first round. Round number two now underway. Andy Jack in the blue and yellow trunks, Dylan Adam in the Canada black and white, and another leg kick to the outside of the knee of Dylan Adam from Andy Jack. Obviously learned something from the game tape watching Dylan Adam fight.
Yeah, and again, these are much better placed and hit with the shin as opposed with the foot. So those first few kicks in the first round worth the foot. Those ones with the shin. A nice right hand there, stunned Dylan Adam, but come right back in, and some more knees. And as Dylan Adam lowered his head, I was worried that we were going to have a stand-up position as a knee would have hit the head.
Yeah, just connecting with the midsection as the first knee crumpled him, but the second knee got in before he went down. And so as a result, Andy Jack now working a dominant position, trying to find a choke here now as he's transitioned to the back of Dylan Adam. You can look for that rear naked choke. Might be trying to soften him up with some punches to allow him to slip that other arm in. But Dylan Adam doing a good job going 2-on-1 here, Jimmy.
Yeah, controlling the one hand, being able to take away, and he's taking a few hits, but at the end of the day, taking a few hits in the face is better than losing the fight. And trying to get to his back, and he is taking him down there. You're going to watch, he's going to come across a couple times across the chin. It's not going to be the first try that's going to get in on that rear naked choke. He's going to try and go across multiple times until one slips in exactly where he wants it. Very typical of the Winnipeg Academy of Mixed Martial Arts strategy when it comes to rear naked chokes.
Really flattened out his opponent has Andy Jack, and he continues to lay punches, like you said, Jeremy, looking for that choke. But Dylan Adam does have Andy Jack's one hand pinned beneath him, so he's just got to protect from here and make sure that he's intelligently defending, because we have seen fights tonight stopped from a similar position, and you can see the referee right over top of it and saying he's got to defend, and that just makes Andy Jack throw harder.
Well, and he's also got to watch the back of the head, but Aparicio is going to call it. Dylan Adam very frustrated that he wasn't able to defend, and Andy Jack going to push his amateur record to 2-0, and Dylan Adam falling to 1-4, which is really unfortunate, because if you look at some of the other fighters that we've seen tonight, Andy Jack is a very good fighter, and so is Dylan Adam. I think what's happening with Dylan Adam is he's picking really tough opponents.
Yeah, certainly not getting an easy road. But as I've heard from multiple fighters in the past, why take the easy road when you can take the hard road and learn the lessons you need to learn? Again, amateur records don't count for anything. So it's all, I mean, you know, it's dismissive of me to say that. An amateur record counts, but not necessarily. Once you turn pro, no one remembers your amateur record.
That is very true. It's just a question again. Dylan Adams got the skills. It's maybe just a question of confidence, and we do see the end here. And there's the warning from Aparicio telling him not to hit him in the back of the head. But there had been too many unanswered blows there. And again, you look at Dylan Adam, he wasn't out, but he wasn't answering. And he knows it, and that's, I think, where that frustration comes. So we're just waiting for the official decision. We will see it here coming up very quickly. Once again, we're in Estevan, Saskatchewan at Spectra Center. And it's a great place here, Estevan. There's lots of people here, just packed in here.
Brought to you by DNL Hot Shots. The winner by TKO from referee stoppage by a strike at 2 minutes and 3 seconds of the second round. Out of the blue corner, Andy Jack!
Andy, when we talked earlier today, you said it was going to be time to let your hands go. You got to do that here.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's good. I've been working on the hands a lot. Last time I was a little hesitant. I want to come up this time and just take lessons and fight.
Now, when you got him down to the ground, it looked like you were trying to get to his back pretty quickly. Some good transitions then.
Yeah, I'm comfortable there. I finished my last fight that way. And when I got the chance to get on top, I think I was more calm and composed. Learning experience than last time. I was able to pick those shots and land where I wanted to.
So now you moved to 2-0. I assume we can see you back here in the Hard Knocks stage again?
I hope so.
And I'm sure you got sponsors and coaches to thank.
Everybody at Wemla, my head coach Curtis Brigham, thanks to my quarterman Eric Perez and Thomas Richardson and all the other guys that came out. And thanks to my friends and family and all you guys for coming out too.
One more time, ladies and gentlemen, for your winner, Andy Jack.
To find out more about Hard Knocks Fighting and upcoming Hard Knocks events, please visit hardknocksfighting.com.
This school hard knocks fight is in the 205-pound weight division and is brought to you by Fine Lifestyle. And now, let's meet the fighters. First, please welcome Sonny Bird.
So back underway here at Hard Knocks 21, coming to you from the Spectra Place in Estevan, Saskatchewan. Sonny Bird coming down to the cage now from Weiwei MMA in Brandon, Manitoba. Weighed in at 185 pounds last night. 0-1 as an amateur, just 16 years old. Lost his first fight due to a referee stoppage. A little too much ground and pound by his opponent for the referee's taste, and that caused Sonny Bird to fall the goal.
What did he learn from that? He spent his camp working on the ground game and doing into grappling. You know, he's one of those guys who is a young guy and has a lot to learn as he comes forward. Doesn't have any specific background in martial arts, but definitely is game. And again, just 16 years old, so lots of time to learn and develop.
Now, again, I mentioned fighting in at 185 pounds. He did come in a little heavy for this fight and had some trouble with his travel arrangements, which meant that he wasn't able to cut. He ended up having to travel on the day of the weigh-in, so he was unable to kind of get that final cut down during the game before the weigh-in, and so it came in a little heavy, but of course his opponent game to fight anyway, and a bit of a height disadvantage for Sonny Bird coming in at 5'8", while his opponent Wesley Vita stands 6'.
Well, it all depends on what your game is. If you're one of those short guys, Sean Kirk had a career being shorter than everybody and just getting underneath them and taking them down and ground and pounding them. So it depends on your strategy, but it's definitely a reach issue, that's for sure.
And his opponent,
Wesley Vita comes to us from Thunder Bay, Ontario, out of Thunder Valley Martial Arts. 19 years old. It's odd to think that at 19 years old, he'd have 3 more years life experience than his opponent, but that is the case tonight as Wesley Vita comes down to the cage. Started wrestling at age 6 and had several top 10 finishes at the provincial level. And when you're talking about a province the size of Ontario, the amount of people in the province of Ontario, a top 10 finish in your weight class, not exactly something that is negligible when you're looking at somebody's background.
Well, they call it the OFSA World Championships, and that's the Ontario Wrestling World Championships. And in every weight class, you've got more than 100 wrestlers from across Ontario all vying for one spot. So to say that he has multiple top 10 finishes at OFSA is actually, it's a feat that not many can claim. And it's good that you have that wrestling background. It's one of the best bases. In fact, I would say, for my money, it's the best base in MMA. And he found that work took him away from university wrestling, so MMA would be a logical step for him.
And now, the official Hard Knocks fighter introduction. In the power dodge blue corner, with a record of 0-1, he weighed in at 202 pounds. Fighting out of Weiwei MMA from Brandon, Manitoba, please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Sonny Bird! And in the Boston Pizza red corner, in his debut, weighing 185.5 pounds, fighting out of Thunder Valley Martial Arts from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Wes Vita! The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mark Aparicio.
Mark Aparicio back in the cage. Cage doors are closed, fighters are ready. We are set to get underway here with our 10th fight of the night. Wes Vita coming out of the red corner. Sonny Bird in the blue corner, a blue pattern trunks and a blue and yellow pattern on the Vita trunks. As he tries to get the takedown, ends up on the bottom as well. Just tried to take him down, and Sonny Bird proved to be too much on that takedown.
Yeah, the takedown is not as refined as I would like here. The head and shoulders immediately went down, and Sonny Vita using that body position up high, but instantly going for the takedown, so you can tell what Wes Vita's strategy is, and a nice throw there. He ends up in top, but immediately trying for the re-roll was Sonny Bird, but Vita back on top and quickly in a mount.
Ground and pound proved to be the weakness for Sonny Bird in his debut, and a nice roll over there to regain top position in the guard of Vita, dropping some punches of his own, and really talked about working on his grappling. That was a nice rollover, Jamie.
Yeah, it was. The issue I'm having is very the pace coming out is very fast, and if this goes to a nice throw there, if this goes to a longer fight, we'll see that pace drastically slow down as it goes forward.
Big punches now coming from Vita on top of Bird as he's laying down some punches. Mark Aparicio right in there, and this fight was, well, and it is now over. I thought he was going to jump in a moment ago, and jump in he does. Wesley Vita victorious in his amateur debut. Sonny Bird will fall to 0-2, unanswered blows again. The answer as to why he loses this fight. Needed to stay off the ground, it looked like, but once he got down there, it was all Wesley Vita.
Yeah, and you can actually see it's a funny little thing there with Wes Vita. After he won, he immediately went to the center to go stand beside the referee, which is something after you win a wrestling match that immediately you go do. So a little bit of rote memory coming through there by Wes Vita, but good wrestling. The takedowns, he might want to time those a little bit better off of punches and off of strikes, but that comes with training. And he's basically, that's what he said he wants to do. He has no other real hobbies. He just wants to train. And for Sonny Bird, now 0-2 as an amateur, but again, still 16 years old, so a little bit of cage seasoning. But we have the official decision with Doug Denance.
And now, the official decision brought to you by Lifestyle. The winner by TKO due to referee stoppage by the strikes at 129 of the first round. Out of the red corner, Wesley Vita!
Wesley Vita, again, winning his amateur debut. He'll be with Ryan.
Wes, I'll get you here in the center of the cage. You got him down on the ground, you rolled around for a while before you found your spot, and after that it was pretty much done.
Yeah, the weight difference there really made a big difference when I was trying to grapple and take it down, but found the way to do what I do best and take it down ground pound.
So now, for those who weren't at the weigh-ins last night, you came in at 185, your opponent came in 20 pounds heavier, but you weren't going to step away from this fight for nothing.
We drove all the way from Thunder Bay, Ontario. I wanted to fight, I took the fight, it doesn't matter what the weight, I wanted to fight.
A fighter spirit, I'm sure you got coaches and sponsors to thank.
Thank you to Bill, my coach, and Doug, my coach, and everybody from Thunder Valley Martial Arts, and everybody's supporting me back in Wolf Fish very much.
One more time, ladies and gentlemen, for your winner, Wes Vita.
Find out more about Hard Knocks Fighting and upcoming Hard Knocks events. Please visit hardknocksfighting.com.
This School of Hard Knocks fight is in the 135-pound weight division and is brought to you by, I've been waiting all night to say this, Rig Pig Apparel. And now, let's meet the fighters.
comes down to the cage. 1-3 as an amateur. The independent fighter out of Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, Jeremy. And not an easy way to start your career at 1-3.
No, but again, as long as you're learning from your losses, that's the important part. It's each loss, there's a reason you lost that fight, and as long as you continue to improve, that's the important part.
Considers himself a well-rounded fighter with aspects, covering all aspects. Likes to train in all aspects. Again, you can see the coach is getting some instructions from the referee on how to apply the Vaseline and how to do the prep, and you can see Elvis Lyon giving a hand there because again, independent fighters don't have the benefit of that experienced cornerman that's able to come in and help the fighter prepare for the fight.
You'd be amazed at how much cornerman makes a difference. That's why there's a few cornermen who make such good money and have so many trainers underneath, or athletes underneath them.
So David Sternberg comes down to the cage. Again, another fighter out of United Fighter MMA in Kenora, Ontario. 1 win, 1 loss for that club tonight as they look to improve their record by sending David Sternberg to the cage. He is 0-1 as an amateur, just 16 years old, stands 5'8", and has had a little bit of trouble in his first fight when he exposed his neck.
Yeah, when you learn how to double leg, you're told to have your head looking up and in towards your opponent with your head to the outside. That's a standard wrestling double leg. And the reason that's a standard wrestling double leg is because in wrestling you can't get guillotined. Unfortunately for Dave Sternberg, he did get guillotined in his first fight, probably because his head was in really good position for a double leg if he was wrestling. He's learned how to change that technique to make sure that it's where it needs to be and be more aware of where his head and neck are.
And again, UFC veteran Jesse Bongfeld, the head coach at United Fighter MMA. And, well, if you're looking for a coach, you can't do much better than a guy that's been to the highest level of the sport. And Jesse Bongfeld certainly has done that and is imparting that wisdom. How did he get there? What skills did he need to get there? What do you need to do to get to that level? That's what a coach like Jesse Bongfeld's able to do for you.
Well, and MMA is still a young sport, and lots of people talk about how difficult it is to get to that highest level, and it is. It's extremely difficult. But when you look at the amount of talent pool that's going forward to get up to the UFC as compared to the amount of people that are playing football, for example, and how many people actually make it into the NFL, there is a chance for every single fighter, if they commit themselves, to make it to that level, to make it to the top level, the strike forces, the UFCs. And that's the reason, one of the reasons Hard Knocks was made, is to give people an opportunity to get started at a lower level against opponents who are of similar levels so that they can get the confidence and the experience they need to train and fight in the
the
UFC.
official Hard Knocks Fighter introductions. First, fighting out of the Power Dodge blue corner with a record of 1-3. He weighed in at 135 pounds. Fighting as an independent from Prince Albert, please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Jordan Hennekew. And his opponent in the Boston Pizza red corner with a record of 0-1. He weighed in at 135 pounds. Fighting out of United Fighter MMA from Kenora, Ontario, please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Dave Sternberg. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mark Aparicio.
Mark Aparicio in charge of the action in the center of the cage. Our fighters are ready and we are underway, the 11th fight of the night, as Jordan Hennekew takes on Dave Sternberg here in the center of the cage. And it's a Hennekew in the black and red trunks getting the better of that exchange as he winds up on top of Sternberg and is looking to turn him over and does so. A nice move there by Hennique.
Yeah, Hennique doing an excellent job now controlling that position, and you can see by his body position that is something that is very much a wrestling background looking. He's chest to chest, exposing that head and being able to strike.
Now again, a Hennique on top and a bit of a, well, not necessarily a full crucifix, but able to do a lot of damage to the face of Sternberg here as he's got that one arm trapped behind and he's just dropping those little punches, which aren't going to do a lot of individual damage, but the cumulative damage and the ability to put it in front of the ref and say unanswered blows will start to take their toll.
Yeah, and you don't need to hook that arm. You see him just putting his knee down. It's able to block. The muscle to be able to bring for your arm from an extended position outside your body back to the middle is not a strong muscle at all, unless you are one of the very few who develop it. But all you need to do is be able to block it, and that's what's happening here. And a very effective striking here by a Hennique.
And a Hennique continuing to dominate from this top position as he is dropping bombs, and it looked like he was tapping his leg, although I'm not sure. I mean, that's certainly not a submission, but he is calling for it now. That is the end of the fight. Moving to 2 and 3 will be Jordan Hennique as he gets set to continue his mixed martial arts career. A very pumped up Jordan Hennique.
Well, and why not? You put your record to 2 and 3, and definitely this is a dominant performance, and that's all that time in the gym and all that training has paid off, which is that double. And you can see the tap there. It looks like it actually was a tap, and I think it just took for the verbal because Mark Aparicio might not have seen that as a standard tap out. We don't really see the foot tap out. So as we look forward, and again, great performance here by Hennique coming out independently out of First Saskatchewan. We await the official decision with Doug Danancey.
And now, the official decision brought to you by Rick King Apparel. The winner by TKO due to referee stoppage at 1 minute 49 seconds of the first round. In the blue corner, Jordan Hennique.
Jordan Hennique wins 2 and 3. He's with Ryan.
You're looking at the camera. Is it safe to say you were excited to have won?
Oh yeah. I've been 3 losses losing streak. Oh yeah. I've been training hard for 6 weeks of non-stop training. And I just want to say thanks to my coach Lucian. He took me under his wing. And he really helped me out. Thank you. And I want to thank my sponsor, Beverly Classen. She sponsored me. She was training me, hooking me up with all this free stuff. And I want to thank the people at Fort Hoisting and Prince Albert. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
So you got him into the crucifix position. Seemed like you were trying to squirm around and get out of there, but you were able to hold him. Is that something you worked on specifically in training?
No. I wanted to keep this standing up. But he went in for the takedown, and well, it just happened. I don't even know. I never practiced that. I never.
One more time for your winner, ladies and gentlemen, Jordan Hennique.
To find out more about Hard Knocks Fighting and upcoming Hard Knocks events, please visit hardknocksfighting.com.
Our next School of Hard Knocks fight is in the 160-pound weight division and is brought to you by the Fight Network. And now, let's meet the fighters! First, please welcome David Swanson.
So David Swanson coming down to the cage. Redbeard out of the Winnipeg Academy of Mixed Martial Arts, another one of the Whamma guys, and he comes in with a record of 2-1. And I know I've been talking all night about the Whamma boys being undefeated. David Swanson suffering that loss before he went to the Whamma gym. So as a representative of the Winnipeg Academy, he has 2 wins since moving to that gym, and both those wins coming in the Hard Knocks cage. Very focused fighter is David Redbeard Swanson.
Yeah, and he specifically focused for this training camp on wrestling, working wrestling 5 to 6 times a week to prepare for this fight. And he knows that his opponent coming from the wrestling background, so being able to work that wrestling and have that being strong and comfortable and reactionary, you don't want to have to think about your wrestling. You want it just to come naturally, and that's hopefully where David Swanson has made it.
Yeah, a guy that's clearly looking forward, wants to turn pro eventually, but feels like he needs a couple more amateur fights before looking that way. I know CEO Ari Toll of the Hard Knocks Fighting Organization believes that MMA will eventually become like boxing, where guys have 30, 40, 50 amateur fights before they turn pro and get to that pro level. And seeing that those guys fight all the, regularly, if they're able to avoid injury, to get in and develop themselves before they get to the professional level, because you'll see guys at the professional level, now that more and more people are starting to join the sport, you won't see guys that have 5 fights in the UFC anymore. Just to get there, you're going to have a significant record of pro fights in order to get there. So you may start to see guys developing themselves more as an amateur, and that's what David Swanson seems to want.
And his opponent, Matt Semlak. And now, the official Hard Knocks Fighter introductions. Fighting out of the Power Dodge blue corner. He has a record of 2 wins and 1 loss, and weighed in at 159 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of the Winnipeg Academy of MMA. Please welcome Hard Knocks Fighter, David Firecrotch Swanson! In the Boston Pizza Red Corner, with a record of 4 wins and no losses, he weighed in at 161 pounds. Fighting out of Wiley Jiu-Jitsu Academy from Regina, please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Matt Semlak! The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mark Aparicio.
Mark Aparicio in charge of the action, and we are underway with fight number 12 between Matt Semlak in the black and white trunks, the red trunks for David Swanson, as Semlak gets Swanson right up against the cage, and he talked about needing to use his wrestling, and the red beard is needing to do that early here.
Well, he's doing a great job in lifting that with the, you'll see the whizzer there with his right arm. And then any time where that arm starts to creep up, he'll switch to an underhook. Good wrestling here from David Swanson. We won't use his other nickname. He likes it, but it's derogatory to us redheads, I guess.
As a couple gingers ourselves.
Yes.
He's allowed to call himself whatever he wants. I'll stick with Redbeard.
Remember, only ginger can call another ginger. That's the important part.
Swanson getting a little bit of a warning from Mark Aparicio after he got caught holding the cage a couple times, but it does keep him on his feet, so it seems to have worked for him, as again, Matt Zemlak very adept at keeping him up against the cage so far, and maybe thought that was a bit of a low blow. Referee disagrees, and the fight continues.
Well, and the original reason that they didn't want fingers in the cage is a safety reason. Your fingers get caught in the cage, you get taken down, and bad things happen to your fingers. The other part of it, and that's the original reason behind it, the other part of it is guys started using it very quickly to correct themselves. Now with the warning given, David Swanson will not be able to do it again, or he might get deducted a point.
Watch your neck. Watch your neck.
So 12 fights into the card, no decisions yet. All finishes thus far, and these two fighters fairly evenly matched so far here in round number one, although it's been Zemlak with the cage control to this point, having David Swanson up against the cage pretty much since the opening bell, Jim.
Yeah, and now finally does get the takedown, keeping him up against the cage. Tried to get to a point where he is able to land some strikes. There's an attempt there, and in on the neck, and try for a guillotine choke, but I don't think Swanson's going to be able to go to this. It doesn't look in very tight. He has got the guard now, so there is a bit of danger, but Swanson doesn't appear from our angle to be in much concern here, and he is continuing to fight, and normally if you start to punch, it means that you're not in too much danger.
Again, an arm in guillotine, and now out is David Swanson, and finds himself on top of Matt Zemlak. Swanson saying he's been wrestling 5 to 6 times a week to prep for this fight, has serious respect for the ground game of Matt Zemlak.
Yeah, and now on top here, and a nice up kick there, and then a return kick from David Swanson, as if you kick me in the face, I'll kick you in the leg. And now back on top, and that's the end of the round here. Just 3-minute rounds in the amateur fights.
Yeah, under amateur rules here in Saskatchewan, 3-minute rounds with 90-second breaks in between. So both fighters will get a chance to recapture their breath. Matt Zemlak, you saw him there right before we cut away to this shot, went down to the ground, his coach not bringing in a stool, but Zemlak going down to the ground. Jeremy, holding your opponent up against the cage for that long can be pretty taxing.
Well, it's taxing on both guys, the leaning as well as the as staying up straight. Mentioned in previous fights, Randy Couture made a history out of doing it, leaning up against guys and wearing them out. Here we see the replay, and it looks like we're going to get the takedown as Zemlak moves inside, gets some knees, and starts to work lower. And again, some good knees here from Zemlak. We don't get quite to the takedown. Tough round to call because Swanson landed some effective stuff up top, but Zemlak controlled most of the round.
Yeah, I think if I were scoring it right now, the first round on my scorecard would go to Zemlak, if only for cage control, plus he secured the takedown. I don't think the balance of the strikes nor the last kind of 30 seconds of the round on top by Swanson would have qualified. He rolled out of the guillotine, he had control at the end, but he wasn't really able to do much damage. So in my books, first round to Zemlak.
And again, pushing him up against the cages, Zemlak.
Swanson doing a good job of keeping his feet, Jeremy, although as
nice
I say
takedown
that,
there.
Nice takedown. Zemlak really pulled him off the cage and had the one foot and kind of moved it side to side as opposed to forward and back, which meant that Swanson unable to hop along.
Yeah, you have to finish your opponent to the side, and by doing creating the space there by pulling Swanson off the cage, he was able to make the space. Otherwise, Swanson could just lean up against that cage, and it's impossible for a takedown. The thing that we have here, and the difference is when Swanson is on top, he is very effective at striking, and yet we haven't seen much from Matt Zemlak, but here we go, another guillotine attempt by Zemlak, but if Swanson falls out of this, and again, by striking, it doesn't appear that he's in any danger, he's gonna end up on top. There's multiple times I've mentioned I don't like guys pulling guard in that guillotine because it's a very low percentage finish because it's trained so much.
Well, and you could see that that Swanson never thought he was in any true danger and now ends up in a full mount. And we'll see what he can do from here. Gives up the mount in favor of side control and starting to drop a couple punches. Now he goes back to the mount, unloads with a big right hand. And Zemlak doing an effective job of staying away, but had his neck exposed for a moment. Swanson unable to take advantage, although you can see now he's trying to get both hooks in. At this point, he's going to have to flatten out his opponent. A little high, though, for my taste, trying to take his back there.
Yeah, he's got one hook in and now laying some hammer fists down to the face and then a little more of a direct shot, but Zemlak coming back with a leg attack.
And you can see Swanson attempting the arm bar there, but Zemlak able to squirm around it and end up in side control himself. So both these fighters going back and forth on the ground, each exchanging a dominant position. And now again, Zemlak holding his opponent down, driving a knee to the chest of David Swanson, and that a very important distinction because again, no knees to the head of an opponent at all here under SDN rules, and again going to the guillotine choke. And Jeremy, if you're not successful over time with this choke, that's really got to tire out your arms.
Well, it does tire out your arms, and again, he's putting a lot of effort into this, but it doesn't appear that Redbeard is in any difficulty, and his head pops out again. I can't stress enough that giving up a dominant position is not where you want to go, and you see that with Zemlak ending up on the bottom of David Swanson here.
And Swanson again ends round number 2 on top, a much closer round. Both fighters having an opportunity, and we'll see on the replay here some of the early action in round number 2. Just a quick leg kick there, but
nice time leg attack here. That's what they want to show there. Pushing up against the cage.
Yeah, and eventually he secure the takedown from here. So again, a very difficult round to call because at both points, both fighters found themselves in a dominant position. Both fighters found themselves trying to end the fight. So not an easy one for the judges' scorecards. And Jeremy, for the first time tonight, we're going to see a third round.
A third round. It goes to show that fighters are wanting to finish fights. They get out and really try and end the fight. And it's not that Swanson and Zemlak are not trying themselves. Zemlak, multiple submission attempts, but still has not been able to secure that guillotine. And I'm questioning how many more times his arms can hold up for something like that.
So the third and final round is underway here between Matt Zemlak and David Swanson. A kick thrown by Swanson, and first time we've got to a third round tonight, and it starts off the same way the first 2 rounds of this fight did, with Matt Zemlak having David Swanson up against the cage.
Yeah, and Zemlak doing an excellent job of being able to control the cage. The problem I'm having here is he doesn't look to be advancing the fight. He doesn't look to try and finish anything. Like we've seen the guillotines, but they haven't been very effective against David Swanson.
Zemlak now trying inevitably to work for the takedown, as he has in the last 2 rounds. He tries to bring him down, but again winds up on the bottom, and this time without a submission.
Yeah, and this is going to be an opportunity for David Swanson to be able to work a little bit out of here. Hopefully be able to get into side control and get back to where he's comfortable. But Zemlak doing an excellent job of holding him tight.
So at this point, Jeremy, it'll come down to the judges, I think, whether or not the position matters with Zemlak being on the bottom but trying to finish, whereas on the top, Swanson hasn't done much to finish the fight when he's been on top. There was the one armbar try, but really it's been Matt Zemlak pushing the submission action with the guillotines from the bottom. So it'll be interesting to see what the judges are scoring higher.
Yeah, very. Again, it's not an easy job to be a judge. And it's kind of those points that you calculate in your own head is this is a point, and again, no official points for judges, but they have to be saying in their mind, okay, red is winning, red is winning, red is winning, now blue is winning, and just to give that 10-9 must system that we do have in MMA.
Again, Swanson still on top now, working his way out of the guard and now into the half guard. Now he's flipped into a mount, and we'll see whether or not he can keep Zemlak down, and he can't, but a big knee once they get back up, and again, Zemlak has Swanson up against the cage.
Yeah, and a nice push there for Zemlak, but again, I would love to see him have an opportunity to be a little more aggressive here. The wrestling in itself is aggressive, but it's not really looking to finish, in my opinion. I'm sure that this fight is going to go to a decision, although Swanson is letting his hands go now.
Well, and a nice right jab, and now another knee. This fight has been fought at close proximity the entire way. No effort for stand-up at all from Matt Zemlak. Just bowled in, and with just 10 seconds left in round number 3, this will likely be our first decision of the night. Swanson tried to end the fight right there with a big head kick, but Matt Zemlak got out of the way, and now it'll be a matter of going to the judges, and again, the replay showing that it is Swanson on top and Zemlak underneath, and we'll see how much that plays into the judges' decision when we go to the scorecards.
I think both fighters can feel at this point that they could have won or lost the fight. I don't think either one knows in their heart that they are the winner, although David Swanson trying to show that he's got lots of energy left and a little less of something now. The good thing is the judges' scorecards are already in by now, so thankfully there's going to be no judges reading into that. We will see. It's again our first official decision of the night, going to decision, I should say, and when those judges' scorecards come in. Again, either way, I think either of these fighters can feel that they should have won the fight, and either fighter can probably feel like they should have lost this fight. Looks like we have the official decision. Here's Doug Denance.
Official decision brought to you by the Fight Network. The winner by unanimous decision. In the blue corner, David Swanson!
David, I'll get to center of the cage. I said before that I thought this might be one of the better fights of the night. Proved to be that. A lot of battle up against the cage, but you managed to come away with the win.
Yeah, it's not great. I kind of wanted to hit him work, but...
So, once you get into the ground position, get a lot of rolling around. Coaches work with you on your ground game during camp.
Well, every time you got me down, hit the underhook, and just work from there every time. You do that every day. So.
Now, you recently changed your nickname from Redbeard, but I know that the beard is pretty important to you. You made a pretty big decision in your life about the beard.
Yeah, I mean, the beard, sometimes the beard's all you got, so you gotta stick with it.
All right. I'm sure you got coaches and sponsors to thank.
Yeah, I want to thank Ryan, all my coaches, Coach Freeman, and everyone back at Ryan, and all my friends around me.
One more time for your winner, ladies and gentlemen, David Swanson.